Alright, guys, welcome to another episode of Mars Talks. You know, I try to have it in this podcast like format, I guess, if that makes sense, but you know, um, it's hard to, get people on a podcast and talk about things when you don't have anybody on your podcast to talk about things with. So, it is 5:30 in the morning, woke up about 2 hours ago. Um, and something's just been on my mind. It's really been bothering me, you know. So, and that is the absolute polarization and somewhat disappointing mess that is the video gaming community. Uh, Specifically, I would say, within this giant realm that is video games, the relationship that developers and consumers and publishers have with each other. This is just honestly, it really hurts, to talk about. Oh, it doesn't hurt to talk about things like this, but it's just disappointing to have to talk about things like this. Sometimes it feels like maybe I'm the insane one, or there's something I'm missing. But I legitimately, you know, don't see what's wrong in the instance that I'm about to talk about. And I talked about it last week, but what the heck? Oh wow. Sorry about that if you guys heard that. Um, but here's the thing. I have been playing video games since I was at least 2 years old. 2 or 3 years old. That's how long I've been consciously playing video games. Or, what you could consider video games. You know, I've, you know, from a very early age, I've always loved video games. I've always loved video games. I've always loved video games. But, the older I get, the more I see, or look into what you could say is the community of video games and gamers and the developers and the publishers and all that. It starts to get a little disheartening and disappointing to see. Um, so, spoiler alert, I'm going to talk about The Last of Us 2 and other things like that. So, click off the video. I'm going to give you, I don't know, 5 seconds. Five, four, three, two, one. Alright, so I don't get it, guys. I don't get it. What is the humongous deal about The Last of Us? What's the humongous deal about it? Is it because a developer is pushing a opinion or a political statement in a video game? Because that's happened before. Like, I know these are some extreme examples, but Wolfenstein, you know? Let's see what else. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild did a couple things like that. They had that one trans person in their game that you had to buy clothes from to get into the Gerudo town. What else? I don't know. Stuff like that, guys. Come on. Like Halo, for example. I think Halo definitely has a political message in it, or some sort of underlying political theme, and that is the taking religion too far. Science versus religion. How people how an extreme minority can manipulate billions and billions of people or beings or whatever into following them through a hokey religion or whatever. uh stuff like that. Like even Fallout is just is it has a blatant political message, and that is communism is evil, communism sucks. That's pretty much the whole game, right? I mean, not exactly. It's not really the point of the game. It's kind of just like the background universe of the game was where it is, Chinese communists versus, Americans not communist. Um, so it's not like this has ever happened. I mean, Red Dead Redemption, like Lenny, maybe I'm pulling out straws here, but these are just some examples that come to my mind. Like Lenny, he talks about racism and how things pretty much suck being black in 1898 or wherever the game takes place. So it's it is what it is, guys. I don't see what's so different. What makes The Last of Us so different? Maybe they're taking it a step further than everybody else and having a playable character be trans, um, or blatantly trans, which is new. I mean, I don't think I've ever really heard of games where the character is blatantly trans, or you play as a transgender character, which is it's new, but what makes that any worse than anything else? Political games have always been political, guys. For for a very, 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 very long time, games have been political. It's just a matter of when it's not when you decided to notice it, but when you noticed it in the I would say level of politicalness it has. You know, that's always been the case. Hotline Miami had political themes. I don't know, guys. It's just so disappointing and disheartening to see a community that I am a part of act so belligerently for what I see as next to no reason. So, um, The Last of Us. Let's get back to that. I talked about how there was two camps of people that were upset, and that is the people who are upset because Joel and Ellie are killed or die in the second game, and is replaced for a portion of the game, and those that are upset because there are, I guess you could say, I don't want to. I don't want to say any political. I want to say I don't want to say any particular political term just in case I'm wrong or there's some sort of technicality behind it. But generally progressive, um, uh, you know, um, you know, I guess you could say views. Uh, or I guess you could say more liberal, non-conservative views. And so it's 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 like what makes this different? What makes this different? Because it goes a step further than most, or is that what makes it so awful? Um, I just don't get it. And maybe a part of it is the community is acting so hive-minded about something that I don't think they even understand to the utmost degree. We got leaks from a disgruntled employee supposedly, they wouldn't have exposed what they did if they didn't think it was going to upset, the people who wanted to play the game. So let's ask ourselves, why is it upsetting us? What makes this game so different from all the other games that it legitimately upsets us? So, like I said, there was two in the last game, but I think there's three now. Those that are upset because there's a political message being implemented into the game. Those that are upset because, from what I understand, they're just transphobic and homophobic. They don't like the idea of playing as a trans person, or that the fact that there's a trans person in the game and that there's gay people in the game. And then there's the people that um just don't like the fact that they're killing the two main characters that you've grown with in the previous game. So yeah. I mean, another thing is, we knew Joel was going to die for a very, very long time. I remember back in like 2018 when like the Last of Us trailer first came out, Last of Us 2 trailer first came out, with Ellie playing the guitar or whatever. Like, wasn't it spoiled a long, long time ago that Joel was going to die? I might just be like crazy or from a parallel timeline or something like that. But I mean, that's just what I've heard. It's just, I feel like you guys decide very, very subjectively and selectively what you guys think is okay and what's not okay. And then you guys snowball things out of control and you create this giant toxic cesspool of just awfulness that people look into and say, wow, I don't want to be a part of that, Like, I get, the internet. I get the internet. There's gonna be people from all sorts of viewpoints. And generally, those people with different viewpoints tend to kind of congregate around one platform or medium to, to interact with each other on. But this is just wild, guys. Like, I don't understand why you're going to be this upset over a game. If you don't want to play the game, don't buy it. But you don't have to ruin other people's experiences. You don't have to do what you're doing. I just don't get it. Like, from a moral standpoint, do you guys think you're in the correct here, in the right? I'm asking the two groups, not the third group, that I understand. Do you guys think you're morally correct here? Not from a religious standpoint, and not from a personal ideological standpoint, or maybe from a personal ideological standpoint, but from human to human, do you think you're genuinely right to say what you're saying? Because I've seen people say, I don't want to play as a trans character. Well, I guess I don't want to play as a trans character because XYZ, there's a tranny in the game, Ellie's gay or whatever, and she's gay for no reason. Like, you need a reason to be gay. This person's trans for no reason. Like, you need a reason to be trans. I mean, I guess you do need a reason to be trans, but like, that reason's incredibly, subjective, and it usually comes down to, I'm a woman trapped in a man's body. That's generally what it comes down to, right? I mean, from what I understand. It's so disappointing. You guys are hating on a game for what I can understand is practically no reason for, I guess let's just say 2/3 of this group that I'm talking about. I really don't get it, guys. I'm honestly just disappointed. I'm disappointed. Now, me being disappointed doesn't mean anything. I'm like one in nearly 8 billion people in this world. But, you know, just from just from someone who's played video games their whole life, and has seen pretty much every side of the political spectrum and social spectrum, I'm friends with trans people. I'm friends with incredibly, well, I'm not gonna say incredibly, but very conservative people. I'm friends with very liberal people. I don't think I'm necessarily friends with anybody that's blatantly transphobic or homophobic, but I'm friends with people that usually come with the title of being transphobic or homophobic. I'm friends with very, very religious people. I'm friends with hardcore atheists. I'm friends with people that are, you know, adopted. I'm friends with people that aren't adopted. I'm friends with, people all over the United States at least. You know, I'm friends with black people. I'm friends with white people. I'm friends with Latinos. I'm friends with, I don't know, Asians, guys. I don't know, guys. Come on. It's just, why? Why? I don't get it. You seem to think that it's like, okay, Wolfenstein, for example. Wolfenstein. You guys like Wolfenstein, right? A lot of people like Wolfenstein. You killed Nazis and stuff like that. But also in the game, you wear enchanted Jewish armor. And you save Jews, and you lead an underground resistance group, and stuff like that. Now, typically, Jewish people, from what I've seen, tend to lean more to the left than to the right. Does that make the game, liberal SJW media propaganda? I don't know. I don't think so, guys. I think it's just a game. And on top of that, it's just a game saying, don't be xenophobic, don't be racist, don't be, not racist, but racist. Yeah, dang it. I don't know. How do you pronounce racist? I feel like I'm saying it wrong, but I know I'm saying it right. But ugh, I feel like you guys, you know, at least the people that I've seen are between the ages of 25 and 15. And majority of you, without a doubt, majority of people who play video games are white and male. Not to say that there aren't people who play video games that aren't white and male. I'm a black dude. I don't sound black, but I'm black. I'm actually like really, really dark skinned. Uh, so it's kind of polarizing hearing my voice and knowing that, but whatever. Um, but I mean, from what I understand, majority of people that play video games are white and male, and majority of the people that are making a humongous deal about this that I've seen are both white and male. And I'm not trying to like demonize you guys or anything like that, but I'm just trying to make this correlation here and just trying to, put things into perspective. And play a little bit of devil's advocate, maybe. I don't know. This is just a rant, guys. But if I were to be a white male and say what I'm saying right now about how this really isn't something you should be that upset about. Ooh, would you guys, you know, say I'm stupid or I'm liberal or whatever? I don't know, guys. I don't know. What am I getting at? All right, maybe I should make things clear first. I'm pretty much a centrist on most things. I feel like there's usually some ground in the middle where things are most ideal. Sometimes I lean further conservative. Sometimes I lean more liberal. Sometimes I lean more Republican. Sometimes I lean more Democratic. You know, um, it's just I don't get it. I don't get it. And then you guys just throw around names and like I just I don't get it, guys. I don't get it, guys. Why are we so upset about this? Why? Why? I understand being upset that a video game character is being killed off by another video game character. I understand that. But I do not understand the hatred and frustration and transphobia and homophobia behind the rest of the game. Um like Ellie, for example. Apparently she has sex or something or makes out with her girlfriend or wife or whatever or some lady. Okay? And they say it's like for no reason at all. Couldn't you say the same for like, Geralt from the Witcher series, He has sex like all the time with people all the time. Is that a reason to knock the Witcher? I mean, I feel like most people are going to say no, right? I mean, when you look at it that way, you're going to say no. It's just it's so disheartening to see people act this way, and when you're actively a part of a community that does this. Like, sometimes I legitimately feel ashamed to call myself a gamer. Besides the whole meme of it all, gamers are the most oppressed group. But like, really, you guys are upset that they're implementing a a political ideology into the game when that's been the case for many, 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 many years with many, many, many games. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. Like with the whole Battlefield 5 incident, people were upset because there was a woman who had a I don't know, prosthetic arm, and she was like a part of a special ops team or something like that. I don't know. And they didn't buy the game, and it damaged the game's sales. But why were we upset? Why? Why were we actually upset? What unifying reason made us all upset? Battlefield, it's just a game, guys. Like, are you really gonna compromise the fact that you want to play a game because it has a and the gameplay of a game because it has a message you don't approve of? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can understand, both sides of it where it's like, let's say there was this really, really awesome game, but you play as a main character throughout the whole game who does not change, is completely static in opinion and everything like that, and just does awful things like you play as a racist, you play as a racist, and he's just like, I hate niggers, I hate Jews, I hate, he's literally a Moon Man song. He's a living embodiment of the Moon Man song. Is that a reason not to play the game and, boycott a game where, you know, that sort of stuff is happening? Yeah, yeah. But then again, it's your decision to not play the game. And and so then we have to look on the other side, and that is the opposite of that, where it's like I want to be inclusive of everybody within reason, of course. I want to make a good game. I want to have this sort of political statement where it's much more liberally liberal liberal leaning. Um, do we have just as much reason to boycott the game? I don't think so. And my why I say that is because there's I feel like a fine line, and that fine line is moral objectivity. Racism generally is morally incorrect. Is morally incorrect. Homophobia is morally incorrect. Um, Transphobia is morally incorrect. That sort of stuff. This is all just generally. But in the case where, you have a game where things are just morally incorrect, I can understand not wanting to play the game, but how is The Last of Us 2 morally incorrect? It just feels like you guys didn't get what you guys wanted, or not something you guys are comfortable with, so you guys said, wah, 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 boo hoo, I'm not playing this game, I'm going to make a huge deal about it, and cost a company millions in stock, millions of dollars. And on top of that, you guys are, you know, essentially turning this game that people have worked on for years upon years into something incredibly toxic. And it's so disheartening to see that. It's so disappointing. It's so disappointing. And just because a game doesn't line up with your ideology, doesn't mean you should or political opinion doesn't necessarily mean that, it's now a bad game. We don't really even know the gameplay of the game. Like like I don't even know, guys. I don't even know. It's just I'm honestly baffled. This is much more of a reactionary video. I just it's not like I planned this out. I never planned any of my videos out that I've posted on here so far. But I feel like I just need to sit down and talk with someone who actually is upset with the game and understand the reasoning behind it. It's just an absolute toxic wasteland right now. It's so sickening to see. So disappointing. I just don't get it. I just don't get it, guys. Why can't there be a trans person in the game? Or if there can be a trans person in the game, why is this person in particular so upsetting to you? Why is Ellie having, sex upsetting to you? I don't get it. I really. I don't get it, guys. Like, what about this game is so morally incorrect? Is it, you know, forcing LGBT aspects into the game? Well, not forcing, but more like implementing. I don't know. Forcing, implementing. It's the same at this point. But is that wrong? I mean, is that morally incorrect? I think that's a very, very subjective question, and that really just comes down to the eye of the beholder, you know. Who is it's just like, I guess it's a more question of what do they do with the character. And in this game, I think they subvert things pretty well, at least with this Abby character, the transgender girl or woman or whatever. You know, when you see someone that's transgender, you don't well, there's the meme of it, but in reality, you don't expect them to be this hulking man, or this, or I guess I should say woman in this point. This hulking person, who's absolutely roided out of their minds, pretty bent on killing Ellie and Joel. I, you know, wouldn't you expect, for a transgender guy, to typically be, or at least try to be as feminine as possible, right? It's, I just don't get it, guys. Someone explain to me the gripes in the comments so I can better, if this video ever blows up, so I can understand what the problem is. I don't get what the problem is. I do not get it. And it frustrates me so much because of how much I love video games and how much I love being with people who love video games and how passionate I'm about video games. Like me, I've wanted to become a, video game developer or work with video games since at least the 4th grade. I wanted to become a programmer, then I wanted to become like an artist, a concept artist, or someone who works on concepts and stuff like that. And it's evolved, but now I'm at the point where I want to be a creative director, someone who essentially comes up with the idea and directs, video games, like a movie, that sort of stuff. That's just, I don't get it. I don't get it. And of course, there's gonna be people that don't really listen to what I'm trying to say, and they're just gonna say cry harder. And then there's gonna be to those guys. Okay, I mean, I've lived my entire life on the internet. It's not like I haven't seen it before. You can say what you guys got to say, but I'm gonna be listening. You know, just why? Just why? I don't get it. I don't get it, guys. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that, blah blah blah. Mars talks. Oh yeah, we got to do an ending statement. And it'll be um it'll be a question this time. How about that? And my question shall be, if humans, let's say humans exist in 10 million years, are still existing in 10 million years, what do you think we would have evolved to look like? in my opinion, I think we would have evolved to be smaller and much denser. Like we'd be like you know dwarves, from like Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, Middle Earth. You know, we'd be a lot stronger. We'd be a lot more dense and a lot shorter and stouter. Just to so we can orient ourselves better on the gravity of different planets. Like But yeah, thanks for watching. I guess. Uh, that's another video. Ba doop boop.